Hitting that. Here we go. I'm Pat.
I'm Will.
I'm Jeffrey.
Call JG Win.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So, say you have an annuity or something.
Yeah, I have a structured payment and I need cash
Right.
now. Right?
A structured settlement.
Structured settlement.
Right. That's
yeah.
the
That's the same thing. Yeah, I mean, if you win a lawsuit, you can get it annuitized usually. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because with them, wouldn't they basically just be buying out your...
You get paid pennies on the dollar when you do. They do
Right.
rip you off. Yes. Just so you know, it's like the same thing. I drive down every day and I listen to like consumer radio on the way down, and then it's usually Dave Ramsey on the way back, and so they got all the financial commercials on there.
yeah.
And every single commercial break, there is somebody telling me about how I need to get out of my my timeshare.
Timeshare,
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a lot.
It is impossible to get out of it. It is a Chinese finger trap.
Yup.
Yeah, financial, slavery.
We were close.
I am so glad you did not do
I'm
that,
so
man.
glad too.
Yeah.
They almost hooked us in Vegas.
Yeah, no. Just
What?
take the toaster
Well,
and
because
run,
we
bro.
were poor and we went to one of the things, and because they're like, you get free tickets to the show, and we'll give you this much to go gamble and all this kind of stuff, and we're like, yeah, I got a couple hours to kill. We're just gonna say no. And boy, they just keep hammering, and they're like, oh, if we can lower it to this, and it'll be just this much monthly payment. Oh, that's too much. Well, we can work
We will
it.
figure
We'll
it
work
out.
it
Yeah,
down.
we
We'll work
got
it
things
down.
for poor people, too. Yeah.
And it was just like, we were like, huh, you can really just stay all over these places. We're like, no, we don't have money.
We don't have any money.
No, that's why we're here. We don't have money.
It's funny, I was going to take they offered me a cruise for one of those.
A free cruise to sign up for one?
To just attend
To attend.
Yep.
That is so sus, man. I mean, anytime someone
What is
offers
this
you a free
cruise
cruise to
gonna
go
be?
do something,
Well,
you should be like, this better not involve, like, anal sex or something, So,
Or it's a boat
Yeah,
for
or
two
it's
in the pond.
don't disclose it. No, it's I wish I could show you, but yeah, it was straight up. But the thing that's dangerous about that is you can't leave.
no, and they're just going to bother you the entire time.
You're on the water. You can't, of your own volition, you cannot
No.
depart. You could leave Las Vegas.
Yeah, you could. Well, I mean, you could leave the boat too. It's just too complicated.
Right,
It's,
Right.
yeah. No, they're terrible deals. My parents had a timeshare when I was a kid, and I watched them.
Did they?
Yeah, they did, and it was dumb. So, but my parents, like, they were not financial geniuses. So,
Are you talking about the pagoda place?
yeah. Well, and we could swap that out a lot of different places, but
Right. But that's your home base, whatever.
Well, yeah, and the thing about it was that you had to. I can't remember how they suckered one of my neighbors into buying it. The guys that I grew up with, and they had to sell it at a steep discount, but they were like, "We're never going to use this." It's like great for 10 years when you have 2 kids in the house. So, but then after that, it's like, actually, all these places there aren't places I want to go to as a retiree. So,
Oh, right.
yeah, no, and I think my brother-in-law's got a timeshare too.
Really?
Yeah, people just get them. They get. Well, it's a great deal. It's like having a paid vacation every single year, and you just save up for it. Blah blah blah. It's like, no, they rape you.
Yeah.
So there's no way to get out of this contract. You don't own anything.
You don't own anything.
Yeah.
If like a hurricane hits some place and like rips off all the shingles, they can just be like, well, to fix these timeshares, we're not going to charge everybody $50 to kind of cover the cost.
It's more than $50.
Well,
yeah, I know.
but whatever they want to get you for.
The maintenance fees they just rob you on those every single year. So
Well, I guess the major problem I would have is, with very few exceptions, when I start thinking about vacations, it's rarely I want to go to the exact same place that I went before.
yeah, and that's why most of them you can swap. They're part of networks where you can swap out. So it's like VRBO before it was actually a thing. So
Right.
God, and I saw a scary video on that the other day. I'm never staying in Airbnb again.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's problems.
There are
man.
problems, dude.
Oh, Airbnb. Right.
Well, any kind of VRBO or Airbnb.
Where you just stay at someone's house?
Yeah, fuck that.
Why?
Dude, they like fucking videotape you taking a shit and stuff.
Yeah.
So in those places, it's horrible.
Oh.
So they had this one guy, and he was like, "Okay, so this is my device, and this is what I use to detect infrared signals in this." Found 3 cameras right away. Yeah. So yeah. Then it's like, so the first thing you do whenever you show up to an Airbnb, don't connect to the Wi-Fi, but just search it to see how many devices are on it. So, and it's like, oh God. And he's like, yeah. So, and here's one that's like a 5-star, blah, blah, blah. And the reason why it's full of cameras is because hot women come here all the time. And it just records. It doesn't know that you're hot or that you're 500 pounds. So, and your shit still winds up on the internet.
Yeah. There's that, and they
I will
also
never stay in one of those again.
yeah.
Oh.
And that's also the same thing that they use for like charges for extra cleanup or things like that.
Right.
And there's a term for it. I don't remember what it is,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's tough.
This
And
guy wasn't really talking about the money thing. He was just talking about all the fucking
Privacy.
creepy shit that people do.
well,
So,
other
yeah.
people have talked about things where I didn't know I'd be taking care of a pet this weekend, or
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez, yeah.
people just show up and there's a dog there, and sometimes they're like, "This is the best thing ever," right?
Yeah,
But-
that would ruin my vacation.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So when you show up and you open the door, there's like 6 cats there. So,
That's
yeah.
kind of
They're like,
it.
I can't stay here. So I'd be like, oh, kitties.
Well, you'd be cool if it was cats, though.
Oh
right?
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
I'd be
That's the
like,
point.
oh, I'm gonna die.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
So
And I can say, like, if for me, I know that in certain circumstances, if I turned out and just like your dog, right? If I showed up in your dog with her, I couldn't 5-star that place, fast enough. I'm like, this is the happiest weekend
There's
of my life.
no way if that was my dog, I would just trust whoever's just coming in to be like, yeah, you'll take good care of my dog. There's no way I would do that.
No.
yeah, no.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I've used a cup. I've stayed at one.
I stayed at
One or two.
exactly one,
I
and it
think
was
it's two.
fine.
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of, and that was several years ago. So, but yeah,
Realistically, my understanding is most of them are absolutely fine, but you just cannot possibly know.
dude, I know the hotel was fine.
Right.
So yeah, because
Exactly.
if it's
exactly.
a major chain and they get caught doing that, they get the bejesus suit out of them.
Well, and you get a piece of that.
and
yes.
you do get a piece.
They
of
send
that,
you a
yes.
letter, or they send you an email that says, "Did you stay here between the years?"
Right,
of
yeah,
this and
you
this?"
could be part of a class action lawsuit. So,
I've gotten that money.
oh, have you?
Yeah, for different things. Yeah. Yeah.
I got one. I got a check from CU the other day.
Really?
Yeah, from the school for something. I can't remember what it was for. It was really small. It was like $17.
Oh,
So yeah, I've never gotten a major check off one of those. It's
I don't know what you. Okay, so
more than 1,000.
major would be what my mom got from the asbestos companies.
Well, yeah, that would be major. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
But I did get some money from the old casino app that I was using.
Did
Oh,
you?
really?
How
Yeah.
much did they give you? What you lost?
No.
No. Well, that's the thing with negotiated settlements. They're always pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
So,
No, it was well, it's funny that you say pennies on the. It was like $400.
that's not bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for their pennies on the dollar, I don't know what they took in to be paying out.
Oh, how much they
Yeah.
grifted out
I
of
mean,
you.
especially since you already figured you just lost the money anyway.
Right.
They're like,
Yeah.
wow, the slots finally
That's
hit.
correct. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Huh. Yeah.
What were they? Were they just have terrible odds, or like lying about odds or something?
I don't remember the exact specifications of it.
Like there were no winners.
Well, no, this is the stupid thing about all right. So you can't play real slots online here in Colorado. Right? So you can't go to the DraftKings casino and play for
Because
actual
they have
money.
casinos here that they want you to go.
I bet you that's
Yeah,
the
there's
reason why.
laws.
Because I couldn't do that in Vegas for gambling on sports.
That
Unless you signed up for the Las Vegas one, which was
okay.
connected to the casino.
Got it. Okay. So that makes perfect sense. So here, if you play, you can't cash out, right? So you can win. I mean, that's the thing is by any definition, at some point with what I'd put in, I don't know if I was a millionaire, but I would have been, up there. But you basically crank up the value as far as you can and just play until it goes down, right? Because what are you going to do? You're hoarding money that doesn't exist.
Right.
Can you drive across the state line?
I don't know. I mean, we're kind of dead center here. I don't know what the closest state line would be.
Closest here?
That
Probably
wouldn't,
Wyoming,
That
yeah.
wouldn't have
No.
gambling.
No.
Kansas?
Kansas is way closer. Yeah, Wyoming's a good 3 hours away. 2.5, right?
Kansas is about that, isn't it?
I don't know. It's like an hour to Lyman, so
Oh,
maybe, yeah.
But you'd have to make sure Kansas doesn't have casinos.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. They have reservations,
They
probably.
Probably have casinos.
Yeah.
Does Wyoming?
I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah. Wyoming's got huge reservations.
And they're
so-
Republican. They love gambling.
Yeah, you can get fireworks while you're there, too.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I feel like okay.
yeah,
Well,
3-year-long membership to the Libertarian Party.
But what you could find is an app for a Colorado casino. And then that you could do.
oh, okay. So, well, I don't know if there were specifically Colorado
Back
casinos.
then, yeah, I don't really.
I have no idea, but yeah. So maybe that's part of it where it's like I have no idea, but there was something where, hey, if you were on here, did you spend any money? I said yes. How much? This. Said all right, no problem. And then hang out for 6 months, and if something happens, we'll let you know. And then they didn't let me know. Just one day, I got the little end notification that said, money.
They just deposited?
Just deposit it.
That's weird.
Yeah, it was crazy.
They send me a check whenever I've gotten one of those. So
The only one I've gotten, I think, was Baker.
I almost
Oh.
never give anybody my bank account though. So it's like my employer, my student loan servicer,
Mm.
and that's about it, man. So
But yeah, I think nowadays you could find a way to gamble. If you
you totally could with the VPN, right?
well, there you
Well,
go.
that probably wouldn't work.
Well, I don't know anything about them, so
It could. Because that would be a way that I could like watch the Nuggets game.
Nah, because
Here.
ultimately, what's going to happen there is if you. All right, so I would say that the biggest problem would happen is if you win,
Oh.
oh
yeah.
right, they could jack you.
because then there has to be tax stuff.
Oh right,
Yep. Yep. So yeah, just find yeah. But I didn't even know that existed until I went to Vegas last time. And like
Yeah, no doubt.
because I went on the football weekend and like soon as I land, I was like, okay, I'm gonna play some bets because I'm not gonna make it to the casino in time for the start of the games. And it's like, no. I'm like, what do you mean no? Like I was on DraftKings and it's just like
Yeah,
you're in a state that doesn't allow it. I'm like, this is Vegas. What the hell? This is gambling.
Right,
What are you
right.
talking? And it's like, nope. You're in the spot that they said there's plenty of places to gamble.
yeah.
The
Go gamble
money,
at those,
the
yeah.
money stays here.
right.
So
Right.
I was like, oh. And they're
Well,
like,
that's true with our casinos too.
yo. So that's why if you find an app from a casino that's here, then you could probably do all that.
Yeah, but all the stuff that that they have on there it's these big things. It is like the DraftKings casino. It's stuff like that. It's these like conglomerates. I don't think I could play the Grand Treasure Williston.
Well, no, you'd have to find Grand Treasure
I mean,
Blackhawk.
I can find it. I can tell you where the place is. I can tell you how to get there.
Probably have a QR code. You just,
Yeah,
I'm actually here. It's like, nah, you don't have to be now.
right.
So yeah, there's rules I had no idea existed, and then, yeah, like MGM has separate apps for which state you're in and different.
No
things.
shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew
Okay.
that.
So yeah, it's crazy, and it just it's so like you can just have it go directly from this account to you can cash out at the casino floor. You can
Get out of here.
like
Okay.
it was
Wow.
crazy. I was like, whoa, really? And they're like, yeah, you can run it all up. You can do everything. You never have to leave your seat. You're just using everything on the app. And then you just walk up over there and you can show them your phone and it scans and there's your money.
So if you're in Vegas, you can play the MGM slots on your phone.
Yeah. And you could just be sitting there playing it. And then if you win, you just pop into MGM or I mean, you could just have them deposit it back to your account. But
Oh, right.
because I did that, like the Nuggets were playing on the night I was leaving.
Oh,
And
okay,
I was like, I'm not gonna be one of those people that like mails in their ticket. They're winning. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. And they're like, oh, just throw it on the app, and you can. We'll even take your cash here. We'll put it into the app,
Yeah.
and then you just place your bet, and then when you're done, you just cash it right out. I was like, well, that's cool.
I'm trying to think about whether that'd be like better or worse if you just sat in your goddamn hotel room and
I never even
on
went
your
to the
phone.
casino.
But that being said, like if you're
That sounds dumb.
but like so if I were to flip around and say like, okay, so let me pretend that I'm in like the hot tub, right? Somewhere and
Oh,
I'm
doing slots from your hot
you're
tub.
just relaxing and you're doing that at the same time, fucking losing money on your phone while you're sitting around outside or whatever. Like
Yeah.
that could be kind of fun too.
Yeah, they're gonna find ways to get your money.
But I mean that's the Vegas thing is you have to be like, nah, I have to actually space this out. I'm gonna do this for a while, then I'm gonna go cause some trouble here, then I'm gonna go do this, and if you get really out of money, you go see the dam. You go to Lake Mead. You go to Lake Mead. Yeah. Yeah, or you wander the like aquarium area in the fucking. It's not the Treasure Island. It's the Mandalay Bay, where they have that big aquarium area.
Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
Beta.
yeah.
And then Mirage got sold. It's turning into a Hard Rock.
You
Hard
get
Rock
a knock.
is lame.
I know they're making a giant guitar that actually has hotel rooms in it.
This sounds like Vegas.
I don't want to stay in a giant guitar. That's like a Sims building. It really is.
It's like a cake. Yeah.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
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 So I heard they're gonna knock down, or Donald Trump was selling his casino out there too.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been there? Is it a dump?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. There's a couple of places I like to say. There's one more. There's two more places that I'd like to say, for sure, because I haven't yet.
Where at?
Caesars,
Mm.
and I have not stayed at the Bellagio yet.
I don't think I've stayed at either one of those. Venetian was good.
Venetian's a nice place.
Venetian was good.
Yeah. No, that's
Caesars and Bellagio are both pricey.
they are pricey.
They're
Yeah,
very pricey.
but I haven't stayed there yet.
Have you stayed at the Luxor?
Yes.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
What'd you think
Is your
about
room slanted?
Fair question, is it?
No, it's not the land. I don't know. I think the slant's so little that you barely even notice it.
Well, it's not like an obelisk. Yeah.
So it might have had a little bit less, but I don't think so. But we only stayed there the one night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No.
And then I stayed at Excalibur. I stayed at one thing, Imperial Dragon, that doesn't even exist anymore.
No, it does not.
MGM, Venetian,
The New York.
New York, and then the Miracle Mile. I think that's Hard Rock.
I'm pretty sure it is.
So that's why I don't know why there's another Hard Rock going in there.
Well, because the Hard Rock
It's
is
like tucked away.
it's all the way at it's past it's like the ass end of the strip all the way down there.
No, it's in the middle.
Hard Rock
Yeah,
didn't used to be. Okay, so
it's in between like Excalibur and Venetian. Like it's right in the middle there.
well, okay, so I know that they changed some of the middle ones. So you had that row where it was basically so I liked Bally's. Bally's was nice, and then that's where the Paris was or is.
Paris is still there.
And the other one was like desert themed. I stayed there, like Aladdin, something like that.
Ooh, that's not there.
But that one's, I think that's the one that changed to the Hard Rock.
and there's a really boring one that they built. Like, it's brand new, and it's got this giant Ferris wheel outside.
Oh,
And we went inside, and, like, the ceilings are low. There's, like, no, like, it was the worst thing. I was like, this is the new Vegas hotel?
does it have a name? Does it just say casino?
It's...
Yeah.
Oh,
White,
The gambler.
yeah,
You know.
it's got a name.
white
I'll have
hand,
to-
black letters.
Right.
What's your search? It's like, what is that boring ass casino on?
No, I'm writing. Yeah, I'm working well, so I'm writing the other person.
Oh, okay.
With you,
Okay.
so-
No,
Oh, okay.
I thought he was looking it up. No, it's
I wouldn't know. So,
no, I got you.
yeah, I would not know. So, but I know that everybody at the local yacht club uses MGM, the app.
Mm.
Oh,
Horse
really?
betting.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they're big on it. And so there's a couple guys that are really big on it. So,
I know a guy.
do you?
Yeah.
Football season.
Right, football season. These guys.
I
are
might
constantly-
do it during the NBA playoffs
during the playoffs. Yeah. So.
if the Nuggets just win out and all the way through. Then they'd have to cover the spread, and they're terrible.
Good luck with that. Yeah, exactly.
Did you do the $25 at the beginning of the season to win it all?
No, because that would only paid me like $50.
No. You have to bet on a really shitty team.
Yeah, well, the Nuggets weren't bad last year because I mean they were in there, but nobody actually thought they would win it all.
Right. Right.
So they paid pretty good, but it'd be like betting
So
on
you
the,
did get it.
well last year,
Well, okay. Okay.
not this year, because
Oh.
yeah, the payout was garbage.
Yeah.
But if I want to throw money on the Broncos, I'd make a fortune if they win. More
You're
than
gonna lose
30
that money.
games.
Yeah, you're gonna lose that money. So
I got you, man. What you been up to?
nothing really. So just working and a sleepy day today, man. Just sleepy.
No.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm gonna start doing some fucking yard work, and I don't want to. So
Yeah, I gotta rake up my grass that's dead.
I gotta
know
rake up
you
my
don't-
leaves so they don't burn down. So my house backs up to open space, and you know, it coming through the other day. It's like, oh well, we know there's a fire mitigation. I was like, shut up. So, but it was like, yeah, you guys are right. After you know,
And the
like
hotel.
my
is the
house is,
link.
huh?
The hotel is the link.
The
L-I-N-K?
link. Okay.
LINQ. Don't go there.
Don't go there.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah.
No, anyway, that's more exciting than anything that's going on in my house. So
So just leaves? That's your whole yard work?
yeah, like I want to rip all of my bushes out. So I'm just sick of them. So
Are they the juniper bush things?
Yes.
Oh, I hate those.
We all do.
yeah, and I've got this like weird poison plant that like this is weird flowery weed that is actually toxic. So yeah. It took me a while to figure that out, but then, you know, I think my mother-in-law finally Googled it, and she's like, yeah, if you pull those out with your, like, out gloves on your hands, you're going to get sick. And I was like, yeah, those should probably go. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
Why do you have them in your yard to begin
I thought they looked pretty, man.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, you know, it was
They
just
just
like,
showed up one day?
they've been there for 10 years, man. So, you know, but they've just expanded over the last, I'd say, 3 or 4 years. So,
Are they
they're invasive.
spiky at all?
now they're greasy. Yeah, they're a little
Okay.
greasy. They're weird.
Huh.
So yeah, but anyway, yeah, I was just done with the vegetation. So
All rocks?
we're gonna do rocks or something. So that'll be a project for the summer. I mean, we will do absolutely zero manual labor on it. So
Oh,
we gotta
outsourcing.
We gotta outsource that. So yeah. And that's hard to find right now. It's really, I mean, like the guys that we've talked to, they're already booked out to like October. So my yard's gonna look
God
like shit this year
damn.
again. Yeah. So
So you just book them for next year?
we'll just get the money together and book them. So
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd do it all myself.
I do not do that.
I would do one bush one day and then one
I pay
bush
professionals to
another.
do things for me quickly.
I've done everything in my yard other than the snow. Yeah, had the sod delivered.
I've done everything, man. So I laid my own sod. I did my own fucking sprinkler system.
Whoa!
I fucking hated that. So
Oh.
yes, and it sucked. I mean, I'd have to go back and fix it every other year. So I mean, I've done
Every
yeah.
other year.
Well, yeah, because like
We were going every weekend.
for a little while there, yeah, we were going every weekend until I figured out that it's like, well, rather than go to Lowe's and buy the one part, buy 5 of everything because they're a fucking nickel. Okay, you know? And then you don't have to go again. And so we didn't have to go that often. But yeah, no, there were parts of my sprinkler system that were completely like, you know, Rube Goldberg together. You know, there's like this one part where the tree roots had grown deeper than the actual like pipe. And so I had to get a flexible hose and then fit both ends, and it was underground. There, it was just.
Oh wow!
It was awful. And then one year I bought the good sprinkler heads, thinking they wouldn't freeze. They fucking freeze. So then I bought
You
the
gotta
cheap
blow
ones.
out your sprinkler.
Huh?
You don't blow them out?
Of course I did. So
And they still?
absolutely. So yes. So unless I wanted to buy the big like $10 can sprinklers. So
What?
yes, it was just the way the yard was shaped. It was just the way that like the whole system was not deep enough where it's supposed to be like 18 inches down. Mine was only about 10. So I mean it would freeze. And then 2 or 3 heads would break every year.
Oh
And I got to the
man!
point in time where I just knew which ones were going to break, and I pulled them in the fall. I just put them back. You know, so I will
Wow.
never do a sprinkler system again ever. So
Will you ever have a lawn again?
no,
Well, I'm glad you're not planning on watering those rocks.
no. I was thinking about like putting grass in again this year, and I was thinking about it. And I was like, wait a minute. Let me do some math here. My daughter graduates from high school. Carry the one. Okay, no, fuck that. So yeah, you know, and like the neighborhood boys are the guys who are running all over my yard. And I'm a nice guy. I'm like whatever. I'm the only guy who has a front-facing yard, so that I there's of any
Yeah, that's
size
true.
in my neighborhood. And so they were always, you know, I mean, they were stomping up and down my stairs this morning. I don't know why they weren't in school. I think that was
Huh.
interesting. Yeah, they weren't in school. Oh yeah, I know what it was. CMAS.
So they didn't go to
So you
school?
go to school, yeah. So, that's
Colorado testing.
yeah, that's the
Oh,
testing.
oh,
Well,
oh.
if you opt out, you know, then yeah.
So you opt out, you don't have to go to school?
I don't know.
Or their parents are
So-
just like, yeah, we opted you out.
Well, I know 2 of the boys. So there's 4 kids. There's about 5 boys that live in the neighborhood. So 2 of them are older, and they, of course, their mom is Italian, and so she makes them go to school. 2 of them are in a parochial school, and so
Oh.
yeah, I got lectured about the ills and dangers of the public school system one day by their mother. So. And then the other 2 were there today, and they go to my daughter. The school that my daughter used to go to, because they're in elementary school, and they were not in school today. They were out there playing airsoft on my front steps. So,
All right.
yeah,
Yeah, my daughter's going through the test right now, and we'll by the end of the week.
yeah, they're fun stuff, man. So
They're a breeze.
they're not bad. So, and I mean, they don't get tested like as like 10 years ago. I mean, you just got pounded with testing.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Jeff lived through that. I mean,
Oh,
where
yeah.
you had like a fucking month of it. So
Well, it wasn't that bad.
well, it
was-
depends on what grade you. If you're in 4th or 8th grade, you went through at least 2.5 weeks. So
Well, okay.
God dang.
and then I think 11th grade, wasn't that the other one where they did the expanded battery? You would know
not
more
when
than
I
I
was
would.
there. So testing stopped at 10th.
Okay.
Yeah. What I can say here is it's not. It wasn't. It wasn't just the testing itself, because you're right. The process was, a week long or 2 weeks, depending on where you were. The other thing was that the month and some change prior,
Oh yeah.
you would be hitting that.
Oh, they're prepping you for testing. Yeah.
Yes. So I would probably count that with the test. What I do remember When we took the Iowa standard tests when
Oh
we
my
were
god,
younger,
that was ages ago.
you could buy these chocolate bars for like $1. These weren't the awesome ones that you got with the caramel and the crunch one and
I
the chocolate
love a
one.
caramel.
Were they white?
Yes.
Yeah, I do remember.
White with a silver wrapper, and
Yeah.
they were big and thick, and those were pretty good.
It was chocolate and almonds, if I recall.
Yep,
Yeah.
but they weren't as good as those banned ones. Those if they had those in stores, and they wouldn't even have to do anything special. They wouldn't have to say like these are Cadbury. You just put them out there, and they just say caramel on them. I'm like, I know what these are.
Yeah.
I know what these are.
Like, how many boxes of these do you have in the back? Because I'll take them all.
Okay, question.
Oh.
Did they
It's like an
inform?
accusation.
Did they? Did they inform
Question.
teachers, like, if they knew that there were students that weren't going to do well on this test? Did they suggest that they opt out?
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
No.
There was no...
You get so
Shenanigans.
busted for that.
That is, you are kicking the ball on the green, and that's your ass.
It's literally you with like the flick of the tiger balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they do in other countries.
Yeah, it is. So it's
There's one kid on there that does not understand multiplication at all, and I'm like, I could easily see the teacher just being like, "You sure you want to take this test?"
It is not.
It doesn't work like
No.
that. Yeah.
No.
So I mean, so like the whole like holding teachers accountable through standardized testing is garbage. They don't do it. So like sometimes the school, or if you have a particular teacher, but you have to be. It'd take a lot more than one stupid kid, for you to want to put your finger on the scale.
Now that's to say that districts have salted the results, right?
Districts certainly have.
Yeah.
Yeah, districts do.
How do you do that?
Well, there's a couple different ways you can do that. I mean, like one of the things that you can do as a district is, I mean, so before you weren't necessarily responsible for like when you actually scheduled the tests. So, so they would pick, what's I was like, oh well, so we'll do the 8th grade test in 4th quarter of 8th grade, whereas District B would be like, oh, we're gonna do it in 2nd quarter, and then, and so you'd be able to fuck it up that way. So.
Well, and other districts, I remember Chicago got rung up for this one. They just gave them the answers.
Oh, yeah, that did happen. Yeah, the answer books. That was from Freakonomics. I remember that.
Yeah.
That's how they proved that. It was like, no way. There's no way this school is a standard deviation better than all the other ones in Chicago.
Like, I don't even feel like that's an investigate. Like, you guys just kind of come in and say, like, all right, look at the kids. All right, yeah, I can do.
Yeah.
I can figure this out with a visual pat down. I don't need to ask them a single question. And you just come in there and say, all right, so I went in this classroom, and there were at least 7 kids with a stupid look on their face. There is no way
There were 12 in the room.
a 12-child class size my ass.
In
But,
Chicago?
Yeah.
In Chicago, yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Well, the class size isn't the issue that it used to be. That's for sure. So.
Oh my
It
god.
kinda
it was
is in
when I
ours.
was there.
Is it? Like
Yeah.
what?
Do they just keep? There's so many families
Well, that's because you keep building more houses out
I
in your
know.
white people neighborhood out there.
and
man.
no more
So-
schools, so it's they're just loaded.
But how big is it?
42 deep.
Yeah, no, I've had classes of 40, and so, like...
In regular school?
Huh?
In regular school, or?
Yeah, it's saving it over here. So, yeah, when they combine that with Irving, fuck yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
it was
that's
awful,
true.
dude.
Yeah.
And so, but then, like, I look at my daughter's classes, and there's like 18.
Whoa!
Yeah, 18, 24-ish. Yeah. So,
And it also depends on the year. Like some of them have, like 3rd grade will be like way smaller than 4th grade.
Oh, yeah, that can
does
happen.
happen.
Yeah.
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 That's one thing that, like, my daughter's elementary school is so different than ours, because ours, we, like, consistently had 4 cohorts in each grade.
Yeah,
And then hers would change every year.
because
So,
one grade was just this monster.
yeah. And then the other one would be, like, tiny. And so, like, the teacher would be like, oh, I was teaching 3rd grade last year, but I get to teach you again because they're kicking me up to 4th grade this year. kind of thing. It was weird. So yeah, it was
They got that at our school too.
yeah.
That shit was like set positions. back
Oh, I know, man. You bid
Yeah.
on these and you sit on it for 30 fucking years.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, growing up, teacher turnover was like almost unheard of. So
This is
you'd
not
have
the
a
universe
few-
we live in. Yeah.
It is not the
Yeah.
universe we live in today. That is true. So yeah, but it was, yeah, because I remember even just subbing for 6 months. We'd be like, "Hey, there's a new guy." He'd come in 2 weeks later. Hey, there's a new science guy.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Hey, this is what happens when you do not give teachers totalitarian control.
right. Yeah, we know that you want that.
Or don't pay them.
You can, you can make some changes in lieu of pay. If I were given the full authority to,
Lay down the law.
well, basically like indentured servitude these kids.
Jeff wants to hit the children. Yes.
I don't want to strike them. That's too easy. Striking, as I've learned, is over too quickly. An extended punishment, right? Because I'm not gonna like chain you up and whip you, right? Over a series of times, over a series of like false confessions of like witchcraft. No. So if I were able to basically run the place like a camp and a tyrant, I would never have left that job.
Yeah, you also wouldn't have any students after a while, or you'd have
Oh, no.
a very
They would be
specific type.
amazing.
Yeah,
The
And they,
ones,
they would take them away from you and give them to the weaker teachers. So
yeah, that's
you-
true.
you know how that
Eventually,
works.
If
You-
you were that guy, eventually they start sending you like, "Why don't you take these courses?
you get all the
Why don't you get
fancies.
these?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they don't seem like the Shakespeare type.
So it's like, well, Shakespeare math, it's all the same. You know?
You know what? 4 times 4 is just 4 fours.
Oh,
Why does that kid struggle with that?
I got her through the threes.
Okay.
It's taken 6 months of candy
what, multiplication tables?
of the threes.
Oh, my daughter gave up on those. So yeah,
Well, they don't memorize the tables.
no,
They
like-
do.
I mean, you can. It does help.
We
but-
spent a month.
Well, they
Practicing the
show
tables.
the way and all that stuff,
Yeah.
but then you get they'd have tests every week on one of the numbers. You're memorizing that.
We would have to chant them. I mean, do you remember that? There was a period in I think 3rd grade where you spent like the month,
Yeah.
and they were just going to do. You're going to repeat these over and over
Did
again.
you go up to 10s or 12s?
We did 12s.
I think we only did 10s. So yeah.
10s are great.
It took me a while to learn 12s later on, but no, my daughter's never had to. There's never been any rote memorization.
2 times 2 is 4.
Right.
2 times 3 is 6. That's
Yeah, they don't do that in my. They didn't do that in my daughter's elementary school at all. So, and to be fair, like most of my students can't do it. So in college, you
They
know.
can't multiply?
Well, they can, okay, but they have to write it out. It's not memorized. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah.
Well, I mean, I will. So I guess the argument I would make against, just the memorizing part is there becomes like some kind of cutoff where you're like, well, if it's a number bigger than 12, then
Yeah. Fuck it. I'm gonna get a calculator.
right,
Yeah. Exactly.
right.
So,
And then
Well,
it
even
turns
if
around
it's
and
a
say-
number of 5 or 6, whatever, you're like,
exactly, yeah.
yeah.
Then you flip around and say, well, if I'm going at 13 and above, why can't I do 11? Why can't now 11s are easy. I get it, but it's the same. It's the same principle.
well, I got to tell William a cool trick, like about dividing by 3. If you add up all the numbers, divisible by 3,
right,
6 and
yeah,
9.
that's
then
right.
yes.
Yeah.
If it ends in 3, 6, 9, or 0, you can do it. So
so as long as you just add up all the numbers and that number's divisible by 3, you're good. And he's like, I was like, go ahead, try it. And he's like, well, he had like a 7-digit number. I was like, add them up. And he's like, oh, that was divisible by 3. He's like, oh, well, that's cool.
yeah.
That is
There's
cool.
a lot of hacks like that. I don't know, like the math they teach, like I kind of lost her a little bit because the way they do division is fuck, and I don't know how to do it. So they use an adding method with it. And then so she lost me there. And then yeah, and then I was like, okay, so they're teaching you different ways than the way that I learned it. So, just ask your teacher how they want you to do it. And so, I was like, aren't you memorizing this stuff? And she's like, no. And I was like, are you supposed to? And she's like, no. And I was like, okay.
So they didn't even test or anything?
Nah.
Wow.
So they would do it all like they'll teach the method. So they say you don't have to memorize anything. You have to memorize the method. So, like she was working. Like one thing that impressed me, she was like in fourth grade and they were doing prime numbers, or fifth grade, and it was like that's pretty cool. So but there's method behind it. To find prime numbers. I was like, oh, that's cool.
There's a method?
Yeah, it's only be divided by itself.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that there was like a cheat code to be like
Not that I know
first,
of.
second, third, fifth number, third, like, and it goes up in a cascading order.
Well, I mean, your divide by 3 trick is 1. So in order to determine a large, anything that's even, of course, eliminates all those.
Yeah.
Anything ends in 5 and 0, of course, eliminates all those. And so if you get something that's like 7, it doesn't add up to something that you can divide by 3. I bet you this one's prime. So yeah.
Well, not just if it ends in 9, 3, 9, or 0.
No, if you add them up.
Yeah, you have to add
yeah. So.
Okay. But yeah, I was like, oh, is there a Fibonacci sequence for prime numbers that you're just like?
I remember we had to just memorize it out to 50.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Sounds
Yeah.
about right.
Yeah. Again, just I'm not obviously I'm not arguing the superiority of this. I'd much rather have the methods. It's the same thing where they asked you to commit to memory the radians chart in trigonometry, and I was like, but if I don't remember this, how can I derive what each of these would be? It's like, well, I'm not asking you to do this. Well, that's what I'm asking you to teach me. Are you telling me there's no way for me to MacGyver this out if I forget, or am I just screwed because I don't remember what the upper 8th quadrant was? It's like, actually, you're screwed. Like, I will never come to you for help.
I quit trig right now.
You know what I should have done? I should have. God damn it! At that moment, I should have just like sat down with my mother or my father and said, "Sorry, I'm having trouble with trigonometry. Would you like to teach me this?" And they would say, "I would love to dust off some old math. Please sit down." But I was too much of a bonehead to actually do that.
My parents were of no help in my homework. Past about 7th grade, man. After that, they were done. So
I'm gonna have to see the book and the examples before I can help out again.
yeah, I mean, I can help my daughter out, but I do this really annoying thing with her. I'm like, well, play the video. So she's like, well, Daddy, it's boring and it doesn't teach me anything. Did you watch it? No. And I was like, well, I need to see it to know what you're doing. So play.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
she'll sit there and just like, It's like, all right, I get the method. So, well, you need to tell me if it's right. It's like, I don't know if it's right. So, but we can figure it out. So,
But yeah, it's like stop rejecting, information like it's a pig heart. I mean, just accept that you might learn something, damn it.
well, I mean, I get it if she doesn't want to learn it, that's fine. But there's a point where it's like, well, even if you don't want to learn it, you want to get the assignment done, right? Yes. Okay. Well, then just do it like one time really good, get the method down, and then it'll take you less time to do this entire thing.
There's that.
Yeah. So,
Has that stuck?
kind of, but her math grade stinks. So, but when she does her CMAS or whatever it is, because they do the annual one now where you get the results the next year, where it says, oh, your kid's in this percentile, blah, blah, blah.
I don't know
She's
where
like way high in math. And it's like, I know you can do it.
Or they just
The
really
state told
dumb
me
down
so.
the
Yeah,
test.
right.
This is not what you're covering right
Well, those are all quantitative reasoning skills, and so it's basically, do you have the building blocks to actually be able to do things? They're not the things that they actually test you on, so they're a little bit different. So,
Which, to be fair, that would be a little bit more akin to an IQ test.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
very much. It's like it's basically testing your capacity. So, in those areas.
Man, I saw one of the meanest responses to a tweet. It was screwed up, but it was funny because so the brushback right here is if you get into any kind of race related argument on the social media nowadays, right? There's two words that are going to come up that will generally shut down any arguments. What?
Colonizer.
No. Think mathematics. And when you're comparing different groups.
Greater than?
Two words, yes. Not greater than.
Equal to.
It has to do with your denominator.
Sample size.
Per capita.
Oh.
Right? Because the argument, of course, stupid as it may be, is basically like, well, whites commit more crimes. It's like, yes. What's the denominator? Right? So one of the I couldn't believe this was just like Googleable was God, I can't remember what this is. He's just a well-known fucking race grifter. I can't remember his name. And he just, threw it out there about like basically like we don't accept per capita in the
This was
black
Ibram
community.
X. Kendi, wasn't
It might have
it?
been.
It was.
And
Yeah.
the response on that was they asked Google two questions. They said, number one, what is the IQ you need to understand per capita? And it was 91. Right? You will understand the concepts of per capita at 91. Then the next question was, what is the average IQ of the average black person?
Oh.
It was 85. So that was like the
just in
meanest...
the lineup in Google with the autofill.
That's they asked the question.
Oh, okay.
And that was how Google kicks out the top answer, and sometimes it'll answer your question.
Yeah,
and it
sometimes.
the thing that I always laugh at with Google's autofill is like it sees what you're doing, and if you deviate into a way that Google doesn't really want to answer, all the autofill stuff.
It goes away. Yeah.
Like, no, I know somebody searched this before.
You're right.
You know where I'm going.
Right. But yeah, when he just laid those out here. Now, granted, of course, that's not an appropriate answer, but if you're trying to start shit with that kind of thing, then that's what you get. Again, that's silly, but that's if you're going to be a grifter on that, fuck you. Whatever you get.
What's the average IQ for a white person?
I think it's
not much higher.
It's in that ballpark.
Yeah.
But it is
below 91?
I don't know about that. Yeah.
Well,
right, this one, okay,
nobody
this one
know
I
how
don't
to
know.
understand per capita.
It's kind of a hard concept to get if you think of things in terms of category. So yeah, because they were doing that whole fight over racial differences in IQ on Twitter like a month ago.
Okay, here it is. Okay, so Caucasians 100.
Oh, okay.
That actually makes perfect sense because that's yeah.
None of those are accurate. So it's oh man.
Is this whatever your chart
Yeah.
thing that we talked about last time?
My flow chart.
Whatever the chart name that
this is a stats foul. It's
Stats
it's not a chart foul. Although I've seen some
Gotcha.
people do chart fouls with this too. So,
Okay, what's the stats foul here?
The stats foul is that if you actually regress any one variable against another, it'll always show up as significant. So, meaning that if I just say like, okay, is there a relationship between IQ and blackness is the only thing I test? Yes, there is going to be a relationship because it's the only thing you test. So,
Right.
So, if I were to take blackness and income,
Right.
okay,
Right.
I guarantee you, blackness would have no relationship, and income would have a 100% relationship.
Well, and then yes, if you then also test for Mountain Dew parts per million, you're going to have a
find a
crossover.
lot of white people. Yes. So, yeah, exactly. So, and it's the same thing. Like they were making the same argument about gender. Gender is the exact same way, or sex. So screw it. I'm not calling it gender no more. So, but like
that very nebulous concept that
it's
means
garbage.
nothing.
Yeah, it's complete hokum now. So I'm completely clicked over on that one.
Well,
but,
they college just said that.
Which college?
Colleges, the NCAA kind of thing, just said that it's about how you're born. So
Yeah, okay.
We're not doing this anymore.
So the NCAA ran all the way back to where it started.
Yes, it said.
Yeah.
Good for it.
If it said,
Let's give it the limit.
you're
Let's
not
give it the
gonna,
win.
you don't go into the female things. I don't care what you do. I don't know if they'd freak out.
We'll have to see what the Olympics says about that, man.
The Olympics has a rule on it, but it's not a great one.
Yeah.
Because it's basically timed out.
Yeah.
Yes, and I believe they also have a they do test the blood for basically like hormones per this, but you know what?
I thought it was dependent on the sport. It's not the whole IOC.
I think it's like 2 years you have to be removed from.
I believe so. Yes.
receiving any
So
drug
that's for
treatment.
all the IOC.
I believe so.
Okay.
And
That's
there may be individual things that are a little bit different in there, but look, this like we joke about. Okay, this is the thing: is in a group full of all men, we have an asterisk in baseball of when they were just men using performance-enhancing drugs, let alone flipping out like, "Yo, man, okay, so you were born in a male gorilla body. You now have declared yourself female."
right. And
Right.
you got gigantic windmill arms while you swim.
That is
Yeah,
correct.
Exactly.
Yes, this is why you are destroying women's soul. Right? But yeah, so that's if you have that significant of a difference, yes. So we have an asterisk era in baseball, let alone this period, where I don't know how you approach it, because if you actually go back to normal and you say like, well, it's going to be another 100 years before one of you breaks this cycling record.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know
Yeah,
what I
they'll
mean?
probably scrub them. So yeah, it'll get asterisked or something like that. And that's like the few places where that's actually happened too. So I mean, like baseball, it was the whole fucking sport. So in this one, it's a little bit different because the Olympics only comes up every 4
Which
years.
is why I'm
so-
really mad that they just like don't want to let the people into the Hall of Fame. It's like the whole sport was doing it. Like,
Oh,
Just mark it. Just
put them in the Hall of Fame and
my understanding was that they didn't want him in the Hall of Fame because 2 of those guys lied before Congress. The other guys, if they came up, they would actually get in.
Bonds
So-
hasn't. Oh, well, is he the one?
Yeah, he was the worst.
well, but he's never proven to have
Yeah,
tested positive.
he
correct.
did. Yeah,
Correct. So,
What I mean, gigantism is
gigantism is the
skull.
thing.
well, we don't know if he just bought a house under the power lines. I mean, it could be. Any
I
number-
lived under the power line. Listen here. My head size did not grow.
I don't know if he was like vacationing in Chernobyl or what. It's not my. It's not my deal, and I don't think it works that way. But and I don't know if there was just like a special crop of super golden crisp that for 6 years.
They
That,
make that, dude.
I don't think
I don't.
Yeah, they do. Honey
Do
Bear's
they?
still out there.
the sugar bear.
Sugar Bear, the Sugar Bear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still out there.
I don't know. I haven't paid.
They still
attention
make
to
pops, smacks,
Pops for
So
That's what I'm saying. Like, why does super golden crisp exist in a Honey Smacks world? It's the same.
I thought it was shaped like a. No, I'm thinking a honeycomb.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's
that
way
I would.
Oh,
wipe
it's
my ass
two
with
different.
that.
It's Kellogg versus Post.
Yeah.
That's why. So they're big.
They taste exactly the same.
I
to
think
me,
that's
yeah.
the point.
it.
Oh, so this is like a Mustang Camaro kind of thing. huh?
Very much so. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
They
Yeah.
changed one tiny little ingredient to not be patent stealing.
I don't
Those are
know.
so old, man. I doubt the patents even still work on them. So-
This is This is public domain shit.
It's gotta be.
Yeah. Well, I know that they do sell the garbage bags of Honey Smacks or whatever.
Well, yeah.
They
Oh, the
call
clear
it.
bags?
Yeah.
The Walmart bags?
I don't remember what it's called though. They don't.
Oh, they give them some.
They're all like the Fruity O's.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one I remember. The Frutangios is
Frutangios,
100%. Yeah,
yeah.
that's one of them. But yeah, so that's
Made
one I
with
like.
real tang.
And O's.
O's. Yeah, real O's.
Yeah, patent that.
Yeah.
Yeah, shapes like in a circle. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's a weird thing. Is going back on this era. I don't. Again, in baseball, they have periods where they've marked like this is the dead ball era. This is
Yeah.
I mean, when they had to actually, I find it fascinating the way that they grandfathered in the spitball was fascinating.
I don't know the story behind that.
If you had, so basically when they outlawed it, right, they said that if you have a guy that throws them, you can have one per team if they were doing this before, and this is your last one you can get.
Oh, okay. I do remember that. They did something similar to Pine Tar, didn't they? So there was something on
you
that
know
for
what?
a little bit where it's
It's
like,
something
hey,
like
yeah,
that.
it's like basically Amnesty Week. So yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they used to have that shit all up and down the
everywhere,
bat.
everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah,
everywhere. So
and I think it was because that was the famous George Brett incident.
yeah,
right?
it was.
Where they took back his home run because he'd gone up too far, and then they walked it back.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I don't know why they don't just say like, well, it's a steroid era. Well, you call it something else.
Well, for the NCAA, I don't know how many records have been broken. I think it's going to be. See, the problem with NCAA is it's 50 fucking sports, so they're all going to make their own goddamn decisions, man.
Yeah.
It's not like baseball is like there's a commissioner,
Right.
there's one
Right.
board. They make the decision. So I mean, because we're just watching so there's this. Who is it? It's like. She showed up on my podcast.
Caitlin Clark.
No, she's a swimmer.
Oh,
Riley Gaines.
Riley Gaines. Man, she's got a big head. But anyway. so she has showed up a lot on my feed. And, just lately talking about, the differences in swimming.
Yep.
And how it went completely one direction. And then it had to go completely the other direction. At short notice and stuff like that because of the pushback it was getting from the community and how that was completely different than how gymnastics was handling it.
Oh,
And so
right,
you're going to have
right.
all kinds of different fucking NCAA bullshit going on out there because, ultimately for 95% of the sports, the last year that you play in eligibility is the last year you'll play that sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. At least on any significant level, I'm sure there are plenty
Sure.
of dudes who, after playing college baseball, right? They're like, so what'd you do? It's like, well, I played 2 years of unlimited arc softball,
Right. Yeah, exactly.
but that
So-
was a beer league.
It was a beer league, yeah.
know?
Coached my kid's little league team. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I have one student who actually he knew that he when he was done with Division II baseball, he was not going to make it into the minors,
Right.
and he actually started a coaching business halfway through his career.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and it was he's the one guy that I know. All right, who was just okay, so I'm going to play until as long as I can, and then I still love baseball enough. I want to find a way to get involved in it. Most people are like, I want to be an agent, or I want to be the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. It's good fucking luck, bro. So,
Well, they already have one.
They're
And
right.
they're going to pick another one. It's not going to be you.
Yeah. You don't say that to their faces, though.
No, it's
so-
like, hey man, that's the same person that the same people that say I want to get into sports announcing.
it's hard.
Okay, well, so number one, did you play the game for 12 years and are well liked?
Yeah.
Okay, well, so you don't have that.
No, you can go up the broadcast route, but it's harder.
You
So,
can
yeah.
take whatever that amount is, divide it in half,
Yeah.
right, and then take how many announcers, right? How many people total in the broadcast booth do they have for all the games, total?
Oh, I don't know the answer to that.
And so it's whatever
You're
the
gonna have your locals.
Well, I mean for like the NFL. So they have to have a minimum of 32, right?
Well, 16 a week in a
Yeah.
two-man team. Well,
Right,
they usually
so-
have like 3 guys.
2
So
to 3 sideline
Sideline
guys.
people,
sideline
that's
guy,
the-
yeah.
you're-
So 4 people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it's not a big.
No, it's a tiny number. It's
Yeah.
like less than 200 people. It has
And
to be less than 200
Half
people.
of every one of those will have to be an athlete
Exactly.
Of some kind.
because
Yes.
they always have the.
Well, 2 out
The
of
color
3.
guy.
2 out of 3. Yeah.
The color guy is going to be.
Just sideline guy
Yeah.
is rarely an athlete.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, a lot of times it's a girl.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Well, not to say that they weren't
Well,
athletes.
she
but
might be an athlete too, but no, she didn't play in the NFL.
She didn't play football.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Although that'd be funny.
They get female refs now. I'm sure it'll happen someday. So
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, but
Had a couple in college.
there's a couple. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kickers.
Couple kickers.
Couple kickers.
I think
Yeah, don't say
one
that,
played a
though.
position.
Player
I
position.
think so.
Yeah.
We have a bad reputation with that here in this state.
With what?
The girl up in CU.
Yeah.
What was wrong with her?
She wasn't. that
She
good.
was fine. She got raped.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Ooh, gross.
Yeah.
This was before Coach Prime, I'm assuming.
Way long.
Yeah,
yeah,
okay. Because
this
that
was-
was a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, at least 20 years.
Oh, Jesus, that long
Yeah,
ago?
yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like maybe right before COVID.
I think we were the first ones.
It might. First or second.
It was
It
up
might have
there.
been-
Yeah. It was very close. Yeah. And so we let one in and she got raped. And that's sweet.
Well,
Good
yeah.
job, guys.
Well, CU did suck for the next 20 years. So,
But that being said, it is.
I mean, badly too. Really, really bad.
since it's a college locker room, it also means that the guys were raping each other. So I
Yeah.
mean,
So, see, this is why we separate the children and make them actually wear their suits.
yeah, I mean, you got to go to the Peyton Manning thing. It's like, all right, man. So how did your penis end up on her head?
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, again, that doesn't make it right. I'm just saying,
No,
like,
it makes him a dirtbag. So,
but it's a room full of dirt. I can't.
Hey,
I
man,
don't excuse it,
I
but
get
it's
it,
like,
yeah, but
fuck, it's just a culture I can't
you're
identify
still a
with.
dirtbag. You're still a dirtbag.
I
So,
agree.
yeah. You know. Hmm.
Did he apologize? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Just wrote her a check.
I guess. Yeah, he gave her some Papa John's money and called it a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. I don't know.
Mm.
Sports is rough. Well, I mean,
It depends on the sport. So, you know, and there's,
I don't think that's
Yeah.
going to happen anymore.
yeah,
There's too much social media, too much.
There's too much
all that
pressure.
stuff. It just
it's too competitive. If you fuck up, you fall out of line, man. There's a guy right behind you who wants that gig. So, you know.
they let a lot of shit slide too.
They do,
Not
but
as much
not like
Not
they used
like
to.
it used to be. Okay, I
Yeah.
get it. It's it's the same thing. Like celebrities used to be able to get away with anything
right.
back in the day. So
Right.
yeah.
Now everybody's got a camera.
Up to
so
and
it's-
including murder. Yeah. So-
Who are you thinking of?
oh man, I don't know. So somebody who maybe had a Heisman Trophy go missing.
Okay, all right.
So,
So in this case, it goes into athlete and celebrity.
correct.
You
Yeah,
covered
he
both
was
bases,
in that
yes.
movie. Yeah.
I was just going athlete, so
Well, athletes, yeah. So
But-
because it was Ray Lewis,
Ray
right?
Lewis,
yeah,
yeah.
just murdered a fucking dude. So
didn't even come close to having to face the music.
no,
Aaron Hernandez did though.
That's true.
he did. Yeah, his was a little bit weird though, man. So yeah,
Well, because he skated the first time.
he
and
did.
then
Yeah,
I think that's also part of the agreement is if you get away with this,
you don't ever try something like that again.
right?
You don't double down within a month. Yeah,
You don't turn around and say, "I'm fucking invincible."
fucking
And then-
invincible. You got nothing on me, kid.
Ray Caruth did not get away with it.
No, that's true.
No. What was his ultimate fate? Did he?
Oh, he went to prison.
Yeah, but he didn't get the needle or anything, did he?
I don't think he got.
I feel like he would deserve it.
I mean, yeah. I don't know what Carolina's rules on death penalties are.
If anybody would qualify for it, I think he'd be up there.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. People don't like giving out the death penalty much anymore.
I don't want to say it's self-defeating. It's just something that you can't take back. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
William,
Can you speak to the justice system being infallible?
Oh, just system sucks balls.
There you go. So I'm not sure.
You want to use it to kill people.
I'm not. That's enough reason for me to say, like, all right, I don't wholly endorse this. It's probably not a great idea.
It's just cheaper to keep the guy in jail for
It
the
is
rest of his life,
100%
too.
cheaper.
Yeah.
What?
Oh yeah.
You know this.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, just
Not
because
death
people
row.
are appealing so much and all that stuff?
You're entitled to inspect. The Supreme
Yes.
Court basically grants you an automatic appeal. So to basically prevent states from executing you before you can appeal. So, which used to be a legit tactic. We're like, sorry, we didn't check the mail on Friday before we left. So, ooh, Ray's gone. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Things will happen, man.
Things will happen. Yeah. So
life in a big city.
I keep telling Barney he's got to check the mail on Friday before we get the hanging rope out.
Gibbons.
Gibbons.
You can't just leave the desk like this, man. Come on.
Oh shit. So yeah.
The guy.
I think it's the guy.
Only, yeah, that's you at the
Right, yeah,
gallows.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. I think
Yeah.
it's the guy. Yeah. Yeah, whatever. So yeah, and then of course you have to house them separately, and then there's a lot of like extra security related towards courthouse visits and stuff like that. It's just a pain in the ass. So it's like you can put a guy in like lockdown, and I mean, so being like put in prison for life is pretty excruciatingly cruel.
Yeah.
So yeah, but most guys they do get rehabbed at some point in time, which is okay. So, or at least they get to the point in time where they're gonna Brooks it out and just
Right.
yeah,
Yes.
they'll be alright,
Yes.
But death penalty is just it's like it's like a 4 or 5 to 1 factor. So it costs like 4 or 5 times as much to kill somebody
Yeah.
as it does to actually just house them. So
Gotcha.
yeah. I don't know if that stat's still true. It's been a while since I looked into that one.
I see no reason that it wouldn't be,
Oh yeah, I don't think so either.
but I can do the research, but I don't care. I know
I
it's
don't really care.
look, if it's a penny more, then even if it were less, I would still be like,
Yeah,
it's-
unless you accidentally kill somebody who didn't deserve it. That's happened.
Did you know how
That's
bad?
happened a few times.
Yeah. There's plenty of times where they show that video of the dude who's been in jail for 35 years, and they turn out like there's no possible way that you could have been there.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks DNA. So
Yeah. And you got this dude who it's like, well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Here's a check for $150,000, and thanks.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
This makes up for everything, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're cool now. Right.
Well, they had that one guy that did that on Joe Rogan. Did you see that? So they had the prison reform guys. So one of them was journalists. The other guy was one of these activists who, had gone through like Rikers or something like that. And he was on the show, and he's a little rough around the edges and stuff like that. But Joe was patient with. This is like maybe 2 years ago. So walking him through, like false convictions and yada 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 and stuff like that. So the guy gets off the show, and he's got all these, like this visibility at this point in time, and he's going around, trying to raise money for his charity and yada yada. Kind of like the guy from, I think that was South Carolina. So where that guy was in jail for 35 years. I think I know.
Black
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
Kind of
but he,
kind of friendly face, but not exactly.
no, but he's like actually way more chill about it than you think he'd
Yes,
be. Yeah.
yeah.
So and he's like, well, I just want to help other people now. It's like, thanks, man. Good for you. Well, this other guy was trying to do that, and it turns out that like they caught him like a month and a half later with a human head in his freezer.
Oh, wow. Alrighty.
What I know, yeah, you'll have to look into it. It's crazy. So he got in an altercation with somebody like in his building or something like that. So he just murdered the motherfucker. his freezer. And he's out there, talking about like forgiveness. Like the best cover ever. Yeah. So,
Oh my gosh.
The only thing like that reminds me of, and I knew you guys knew about this, was that the dude on the reality show that killed his girlfriend and like chopped her up into like 20 pieces.
wasn't he on Survivor?
The Bachelor.
You're right, The Bachelor. Oh yeah, and he's still at large. So they never got him. He's somewhere around in Mexico.
Yeah, because that's
He chopped up his girlfriend and threw her in the ocean. That's right.
yeah, and that was that. Prior to that, they didn't even do background checks on
Yeah.
on reality show contestants.
It was Bachelor.
It's the same thing. Like when I was on an Anadarko rig, right? And what's his name from here? The dude that
Oh, God dang, that's fucked up, man.
the day after they came over after us, it was like, you guys have to submit to these things.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Yeah, please.
Well, I didn't know. I was
Yeah.
like, well, this is a weird thing. What happened? And like one of the guys was like, dude, this guy, because there were people there on those rigs. They're like, I knew that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
That's insane.
who is that? I'm like, well, we know him.
I can't imagine stuffing the bodies of your children in a barrel and burying it.
There's a lot of things I can't picture doing. That's one of them.
That one is pretty high up on the list.
I couldn't do that with a squirrel, dude. I'd have
Well, yeah,
like,
yeah.
like I'd have to have like a very respectful like squirrel funeral.
Go out and buy some felt, So it's gotta have a nice, like.
Dude, I had so I had a mouse once, right? And I will never do this again.
This is the glue traps.
Got it on the
this
glue
story's
trap.
disgusting.
No. He actually did not
Okay.
destroy himself, but he was still alive on the thing, right?
Oh, man.
So I was like, I can't leave you like this, right? So the only thing I could do was like, all right, well, I'm gonna put you in a box, and I hit the box with a hammer.
Yep.
And I felt so bad about that I actually like buried him in the backyard, and I apologized and
Sorry,
'cause-
buddy.
but take that and then do like kids.
With your children. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So, yeah.
So you're like, I glue trap my kids.
That could be handy sometimes, but yeah. Not if they chew their own arm.
Right,
off.
as I caught my son like gnawing off his hind leg to get out.
To get out.
So I put him in a box and hit it with a hammer. And and then he fucking Breaking Bad at it and put him in barrels and
That was so weird. I remember when that whole thing was going on too, and he was just doing interview after interview. So it's like, oh, I need help finding my kids and stuff. And the whole time he's like, yeah, I know, like buried him in oil barrels out in the rig site. So it's
so
like,
he put him in the actual.
God, what?
They put him in the actual like oil thing.
oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like so. I remember hearing this story about a hotel in like the shitty like in Skid Row, and a person had got this one.
I know this one too. Yes,
where the
So,
person had got into the water tank.
yeah, drowned. Yeah,
And they didn't notice until like the people were like, "This water tastes funny."
yeah, exactly. There was dead body in it. Yeah, so yeah, I saw that. That was on Netflix. So
And there's some weird circumstances about how that person came up there, but yeah. But that's so. That person, if I recall, there was no way they were murdered. They were
no, this was Skid Row, man. They were
Yeah.
like pretty sure
High
that
as
I think
shit.
high as shit.
Yeah.
Just decided to go for a swim in the water tank at the top of the building, and so yeah, it's just weird stuff. Well, there was another thing where some dude was trying to get away with some shit lately. He got busted. Wasn't that
what
local?
kind of shit.
It was another murder or something like that.
Here?
Yeah. Or somewhere in the state. I can't remember.
I don't pay attention to much local news.
Oh, that's about all that I
No,
watch
that's his
anymore.
jam.
That's my jam,
If
man.
if it gets
You want me to tell you about traffic stops on I-25? I'm your man. So, you want Joe Biden's latest poll numbers? I can't help it.
if it gets crappy enough to actually make it to like national news, that's where I kick in.
They're saying that it's getting close.
What is?
That the polls are close
Oh, I don't know.
between
They're going to be like neck and neck all the way to the end, man. It's because the whole thing's just engineered that way now. So, I don't know.
Just makes for good TV.
I suppose. Well, I'm not saying that anybody does it, like, it's more like, we need to squeeze as much Democrat or Republican out of this district as we can. And so how do we do that? So,
Well, I guess I would put it to you and say, like, okay, so if I'm going to take the biggest blowout of our lifetimes, which would have been 84.
84?
Yeah.
Mondale?
Yeah. Reagan Mondale. That was...
Well, that was a slaughter, but that was because the Democrats went crazy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So,
was that the biggest one that week?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Biggest landslide in our age. But what I would put to you is, were they still in 84 where they're still saying, like, it's neck and neck, this is really anybody's ball game.
Of course, yeah.
Of
course. And I don't know, like, I haven't sat down and done a good look at the Electoral College, because that's what actually matters. So,
well,
my understanding is that if Joe Biden can't take Michigan, he's basically fucked. So, and considering I know quite a few people from Michigan who absolutely plan on voting for Donald Trump now, this is the law of small numbers. So,
right.
But it is also one of those things where it's kind of like, you guys weren't like that 4 years ago. So,
well, no, the polling right now shows significant leads for Trump in all 6 battleground states.
What are the 6 battle? I know Michigan's won.
Michigan's won. Wisconsin.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
but Joe's going to take that one. So, they got this weird thing where they're just like, oh, he's one of our guys. So
they went for him in 16 though.
Yeah, no, they did.
They went for Trump in 16.
Yeah, but they went back for Biden in I mean, dude, 16's an outlier. Nobody wanted to vote for Hillary. But Michigan was close last time.
Yeah.
So that's the one that I think is interesting.
Yes,
So,
Georgia.
Georgia could be interesting.
Arizona.
Nevada. Nevada's one of them.
Nevada's trickier than Arizona.
But Nevada just doesn't have that many electoral votes.
Arizona doesn't have that many. Arizona's a desert with a giant city in the middle of it. So that's it. So, and that city is a weird place. So
is it Ohio?
I think Ohio
is Trump country.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So, God, remember that like 20 years, 15 years ago? Ohio was that was the keystone of the blue wall there for a long time.
Bro, if you look back at the numbers and see, like, California used to be red.
Yeah, no, that's different now. Yeah.
And it's pretty interesting how that changed. You know whose fault that is?
Ronald Reagan's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they've had more Republican governors since him.
Governors, but in terms of going for the presidential, yeah.
There's no chance. Yeah, it'll break off and sink into the sea before it goes red. So.
Yeah, because he said, like, I'm going to grant amnesty to all of you, and that changed the history of the state forever.
Grant amnesty to who?
Illegals.
And he did that?
Yep.
As a governor?
As president.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
So we had a jubilee once. Some tells me there were probably fewer of them in the country then.
Well, it did change certain demographics, and California has not gone blue or red for president since then.
Oh, that's if they vote. They don't really vote, so
it better not be.
Well, even Hispanics are. I mean, I'm very familiar with voter turnout statistics, and I mean, if there's one group that doesn't vote, it's Hispanics, hands down. So they just don't care. So So. Your most frequent voters are actually black women, and white women, and then white men, and then black men, and then everybody else, and then at the bottom is anybody who's Hispanic. It is. So look it up.
Hey man, I showed you the charts about what the country would look at if individual groups voted. So.
Oh yeah, no, it's totally different.
I also showed you a picture of what it would look like if a lion could jump through.
I love that so much. I fucking love that. I'm trying to get one of my cats to do that. Can you jump 9 times your own height straight up in the air?
Like, here, let me help you.
Oh, it scratched my face.
I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm not stupid. Yeah. No, I got you. It's a weird thing, man.
I still think that the Democrats are going to pull some bullshit. So, Joe Biden's going to fall down the stairs or something. So
they're running out of time to do it.
they're waiting for the convention, man. So you have to wait to the convention, and then after the convention. So because you can still have okay, so he falls down the stairs tomorrow.
Right.
We have a primary. Okay. So, but once you get to the convention, it's done. So at that point in time, it gets basically done by committee, and that's what I think they want to do. So, yeah.
But if they send him in and he wins, right? And
Well, they're going to get Kamala out of it anyway, and they're going to lose.
that's what I'm saying. Is if they
I mean, it's possible that a guy would live for 4 more years. So I don't think he'd be very functional. So. But I mean, a steady diet of like peaches and oatmeal will keep most people alive for 4 years, even if they're in stasis.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I didn't think he'd be alive this long, so
Yeah.
No, in fact, most of us predicted
she'd
death. Yeah. Look, I have no problem with her not taking the reins of this office at all at
Yeah.
any point.
I don't think she'd get it. So
well-
unless he died. Yeah,
Well, that's what
then
I'm
of
saying.
course,
So
yeah.
if like tomorrow,
But even then, she would be so nerfed she couldn't do anything.
Has it
So-
ever happened that the president switched his VP?
Oh yeah,
Election
many
has
times.
it?
Many times.
well, they used to vote for him independently.
Yeah, or they would post it up, so where they would select. So, back in olden days, yeah. So it was first and then second runner up. That hasn't been true since the Civil War.
Right.
So yeah,
Why would that be a
I
problem?
don't know, Jeff, because maybe having the half of the country that hates your fucking guts 1 heartbeat away from the presidency is a bad idea.
I can't believe we thought that was gonna work.
I thought it was fair. So
I agree in some senses that's fair, but there's just
yeah. Well, remember this was still within the party. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
true,
So
yeah,
it wasn't like the
yeah.
Democrats, sitting there just waiting for no.
Yeah,
it was
yeah, yeah.
his Stevens guy that was like, but he has his political rival. So
Yeah.
when you got second place in the primary, you got the second spot, and so you got this incentive.
right.
It's like I'm a heartbeat away from winning that race. So.
Yeah, you got a lot of people just like walking into doorknobs and slipping down the stairs
Right,
and shit
exactly.
like that.
Yeah,
It's just,
so it's like, is it ground up glass in my pudding? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't eat this.
right.
Yeah. So, but I don't know, man. I smell shenanigans. So with what's going on with the Democrats, because they're losing all of their fights. So the progressive left is losing every fight it engages in right now.
People are finally starting to walk out on it openly,
Yes,
saying like, "You guys have gone too far."
you guys are stupid, and
Yeah.
and it's time for everybody in the Democrat Party to cut you guys loose. You can go be greenies or whatever it is you want to be.
Right.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, yeah, and you do have to have like you have to have like a little bit of a divorce sometimes because I mean, when you had the invasion of like the Tea Party, right? Eventually you have to either surrender the party to them or you have to cut them out.
Well, yeah, and they just like, yeah, sure. Where do we sign? Surrender
right.
documents. Yeah.
Right.
Uh,
What are your terms?
what are your terms?
Right.
Yeah.
You're going to pay, war reparations and
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Free all the slaves.
Right. I refuse.
In Abu Ghraib. We were still there, so whatever. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll just have to see. So. It's just like the campaign the whole thing just seemed to die down over the last like month. It's just been quiet.
Well, everything that was a big deal. So Israel is still fucking scrapping Gaza.
One piece at a time. Yeah.
Yep. In some localized places, there are still morons out there. harassing Jews in big groups.
You got to be like on Brown campus and fucking
It's
you know
places in New York and
UCLA,
stuff like that. Yeah, where like, yeah, let's go break the windows of the Jews, businesses. That's
Never
smart.
even seen a Palestinian flag in this town.
I don't think
So,
you will.
I don't think so. Yeah.
I don't think we're really tolerant of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We'd see that thing and be like, we better tell the kids to stay home from school today.
Yes. Walk around that house. Yeah. Cross the street before you get to it.
You're just suddenly on notice for anything ticking. Yes. Yeah, so that's like kind of like died down. There's shit going on in Brazil. There's shit going on in
The Brazil shit is kind of weird, man. But the thing is like there's like 3 or 4 guys who are crossing paths on that one that I regularly listen to.
yeah.
So it's like, well, I'm not gonna listen to all 3 of you, on the same thing.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's like, all right, fine. Something's going down with Twitter in Brazil and the judge, and blah blah blah. It's
Yeah.
like, you know what? Not my fucking business. That's fine.
If something
So,
interesting
yeah.
comes out of this, I will see that, but I will not get
Yeah.
in the thick of it.
No.
There's the what's the other big thing is
The eclipse, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, if that makes like the news cycle, that's pretty good. So that means that like maybe
Right.
things are getting a little bit back to normal.
I
Finally.
think that's it.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. We had so many consecutive weeks of like monster of the week political.
Hitler of the week.
Yes. We had so many
Hitler
weeks
of
of
the
that were like, wow, like an eclipse.
week. Oh, neat. Yeah.
There was one other big thing going on, but I can't even place it now.
I don't think I know anything else.
Yeah, it's been quiet, but I've been off the Twitter, so
That's fine.
it's good for me. It makes me feel better. So, and then the same thing's true with my news app. It just lies to me now. So all the photos are AI generated. So it's awful. It is. It's awful, man. I mean, it's fine for a book or a podcast cover, whatever. Okay, but if you're trying to show me that part that fell off a Southwest plane and it can't even spell Southwest, it's like
It's weird.
this is
sometimes.
dumb.
Yeah.
So like you guys are gonna make the internet stupid. So so if you're gonna actually not even bother to use like a Getty photo so that some photographer went out and got for you and posted up on Shutterstock for $20, but you're too cheap to pay for that because you're not really a news outlet, you're an opinion outlet. So
Right.
masquerading as a news outlet is
Yeah.
trying to tell me how the U.S. airline industry is completely fucked because it's not 100% unionized. Rawr. I'm like, oh my god.
Wow.
So
Well, the fun thing right now, of course, is any sort of problem that happens with like a crash or a bridge or anything
in a
like this.
boat, yeah, a very large boat.
Yeah, anything that happens like that, the first question they rifle through the company's business and see if there's any smattering of DEI
Oh right.
in their literature
Yeah.
because this is
Or ties to Israel, yeah. So
yes, and that's a little bit embarrassing. Look, okay, so
God, that's so dumb, man. That is so like reflexively stupid. So
well, it's a weird. Okay, I don't disagree with the sentiment in terms of being critical of the policy itself, but the whole basically like to look around and say like, oh, okay, well, any place that hired a black pilot, right, is doomed to failure. I'm like, no, they can learn to fly planes.
that it'll be fine. He's just trying to make a larger point and using something that's just, something. It's just a stick you can pick up to hurl at your enemies. So I get it. So
No,
I just like the whole DEI thing too, man. I just tell you, like it's going away. So it is rapidly going away in all forms of corporate America out there. So
it has to.
it has the exact opposite chilling effect. It's like, well, I don't want to hire black guys because they might sue us.
That is exactly
And it's
it,
like,
yes.
well, actually, that's really fucked up. And you know what? It makes hiring a lot harder. So, tell you what, let's build a firewall between when we ask these questions and the shit that we actually see, and we'll be okay. Okay, and we don't give a fuck about the questions that we ask you on those things. We just care about your interview and stuff afterwards. And so, in most companies, just like, yeah, if someone comes after him, it's like, here's our process. All right, these two things are completely separate. So, I mean, it's like this weird misconception they have to fight all the time. It's like, well, does the company, not hire me because I'm black? I was like, there might be one that doesn't do that. I don't know. So
it probably has less than 10 employees.
yeah, exactly. It's probably owned by a family that's been in business, making tortillas for 100 years,
Right.
or something like that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
okay, fine. Yeah, you can run into a racist boss. It's rare. Okay, but it's possible. But like 9 times out of 10, they're not even going to know until you show up to the interview.
Right.
Yeah. So like our hiring is so above board, it's crazy. So like I don't know somebody's name. I don't really know what their background is, other than like maybe the previous two first experiences. And if one of them is in Taco Bell, then I know they've been in the they're probably older than 18. So
Yeah, and unless they specifically, unless you look at their college and they specifically went to Spelman or
well, you can't even tell that, man. When I actually see like resumes and stuff like that, it says has the educational requirement been fulfilled?
oh,
yes.
okay, got it.
So I can't even tell that you went to Hillsdale or something like that,
Okay,
or Wesley
okay.
or whatever. So
Yeah,
I don't know until you show up to the interview. So it's like, okay, fine. So,
All right.
So you can't even put in Harvard or any of that stuff.
it's there. I just can't see it as the
Well,
hiring.
they
manager.
have to verify that before it gets to you.
Well, they have to
correct?
send a transcript.
Yeah.
So, but I don't see the transcript and all that shit until after we've gone through one round of interviews.
Right.
Wow.
So yeah, it's pretty. It's like really separated, man.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and that's how professional companies are doing it. And so they're
As
just
they
like,
should. Well,
Yeah.
even the ESG rating shit is falling apart.
that blew up with that dude from BlackRock.
With Fink.
So, yeah. So
That-
they're like,
that's
wait a
falling
minute, you're
apart.
losing me a lot of money. Fuck
Yes.
off. Yeah, with this
It's
stuff.
like I would much rather I'd much rather eat inhumane chickens than you keep losing my money.
Right, and I mean, a lot of the ESG stuff was just window dressing anyway, and so most of it is basically a company will sit there and they'll funnel money into the nonprofit industrial complex.
You said it.
So
You just said the Voldemort.
I know it is the Voldemort. So we actually, we're gonna send some food, to starving children on the border, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's gonna raise our ESG, and nobody gives a fuck because nobody really wants that guy's money. So
I wouldn't.
Yeah, well-
I'd take it if that's what the option was.
well, the company doesn't get the money anyway. It goes to previous investors. So you gotta sell shares in that company before he can fucking buy them. And so
It's dumb.
it doesn't
It's
go to that company.
stupid.
And so but most of them, like, companies have gotten very good about fighting off activist investors like him and Bill Ackman and Carl Icahn, who's still out there doing this shit. So
Right.
they're pretty good. They're like, we know who you are, man. So just we don't serve your kind here. Just drive along. It's
What? The droids.
the droids outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're Wall Street bots. So
Yeah, it's kooky. It's so that's been like the
yeah.
latest hubbub. The last thing that the biggest traction I got on a tweet that pissed everybody off was somebody posted maybe you saw this one. There was this one where it's this black girl and it's got this thing of like I'm on my way to the court with it's something where
No, I haven't seen it.
all right, but basically, like, because I only said this because this actually popped up in a YouTube comment, right?
Uh-huh.
Where somebody wrote an AAVE and underneath it said translate to English,
AAVE.
African American Vernacular English, formerly known as Ebonics.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so that was the joke. I said, when your English is so bad, Google asks you if you want to translate it to English. And fucking the shitstorm.
Yeah, I'll bet, Joe.
Exploded. And that was
It's like fire meat haystack.
that was one of the ones where I did not come back to respond to anything. I just put the grenade down and slipped out through the tailpipe of my own car.
Right.
And I just watched the world fight itself
Oh
for a
man.
day and a half, and they went fucking nuts.
Yeah. Well, you're generating content, so
I got paid for
yeah,
it.
you get paid for engagement. See, this is why Twitter's fucked, man. It's absolutely fucked. You better enjoy it.
Me, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you and your kind, yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
We let the right kind of bugs in the place, man. So,
Me and the rest of the goblins out there just turning things up to 11.
well, no, it's not guys like you. It's guys who are taking it seriously and then trying to,
Right.
monetize by putting up, fucking more chemtrail videos and shit. So trying to take it seriously, man. So
Chemtrails.
I saw one of those the other day, man, when I was on there last. I was like,
Are
what
they
the
seeding
fuck?
things?
They're seeding things, yes. So
What do you know about
Mind
this?
control. There's all sorts of theories about it.
My last conspiracy theory on this I even looked into was the COVID 5G connection.
oh, right.
That's it. So if there's something beyond this with new stuff with seeding, I don't
No,
know.
the chemtrails was all the way back. Like,
Chemtrails
well,
been around for 20
yeah.
years.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
that.
there was like a conspiracy show by Jesse Ventura,
Oh, yeah.
and he had a full one on the
On
chemtrails.
chemtrails.
Well, has it evolved? I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's
No,
like,
no,
it's the same shit.
Yeah, it's the same shit.
Oh, okay, because he did one about like the Denver, the DIA
yeah,
airport,
yeah.
and I was like, come on, this is the.
I don't know.
We've been joking
There
about
could be
it.
tunnels under there.
There are tunnels under DIA.
that lead to all across the country, and that's what part of it is.
Right, yeah, no, I would have found those.
Oh, I had a badge.
I did, I had a badge.
It unlocks the
I had a
doors.
badge, it unlocks the doors, yeah. So we used to race tugs down the old tunnels, so we would have found them. Yeah.
Well, because those were the original tunnels for the automated luggage system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's two sets of tunnels under DIA. One of them is the bag system. That one's closed off because it would occasionally murder your bag. I mean, murder the fuck out of it,
Yeah.
like explosion. You know,
It's like
yeah.
setting an example to other.
It's like a shark. It's gonna tear one thing apart a day. Just to keep all the other little sharks in line. Yeah. It's,
You're gonna vote for who?
You're gonna vote for who?
No, because the other ones I remember on that one, they also did one about FEMA camps,
Oh, I've heard about the
Yeah.
FEMA camps. Yeah.
and that seems. I don't know. There was nothing I could glom from that. I'm like, I don't know. This is vague and bullshit.
There's Ozark tunnels that are the government's like camp or like way to evade natural disasters or
Yes.
where that's where they ship the VIPs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
yeah.
that's actually true. So there is a. I don't think it's in the Ozarks though. I think it's in the Blue Mountains in Virginia.
There's
Just-
one in the Ozarks too,
Oh,
I think.
okay.
Or maybe I don't know.
There's a huge one in Virginia, in West Virginia, that is like this really fancy golf course, and underneath it is an enormous nuclear bunker that the president and whoever makes it out of DC alive is supposed to go there. So it's a real place. You can Google it; it'll show up.
Ah.
Yeah, you can visit it. So,
Oh. Okay.
Like
I
if
didn't know
the
that.
the
gold
U.S.
is
government is
even-
not very good at keeping secrets for very
if there's even gold in
So-
Fort Knox anymore.
There isn't. See, I know these already. Come on, man.
This is kind of lame. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I feel
kind of
like we're-
lame.
I feel like we're way short on like new conspiracy. I guess that's why 5G, COVID was because 5G was weakening the immune system.
I heard that one. Yeah.
Well, then who knows if the vaccination, whether that's conspiracy, whether COVID itself is the conspiracy.
Okay, listen, I had this discussion with my dog's physical therapist today. Okay, now hold on. Okay, because she gave me the shot that she takes for her osteoarthritis. Right, she was saying I don't necessarily like it. They gave it to her without asking me first. Because she's the PT, right? So she wasn't the emergency room,
Oh.
She said, if there's gonna be a bad reaction, it's usually after the first injection, right? But since she did well on that, we'll give her another one. You just watch her and make sure nothing kooky happens, right? But I was like, what do you have against this thing? And she's like, well, they've been basically touting this as like a miracle thing where it's like, you get your dog on this, she's going to have new energy, a lot of stuff, pump this all stuff. She's like, but it hasn't, it came out like in February.
Oh,
she's like,
yeah.
It hasn't been extensively tested, and I fear for what it could do with dogs. And so I was like, should they look out for that, like with vaccines with humans? And she gave me this shit. She's like, I know,
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. The cameras.
Yeah,
are
it's
listening,
just,
Jeff.
yeah. So she said a couple of things about, I don't know how you can get something out this fast and make the promises that they made, blah blah blah. So yeah,
She's an anti-vaxxer.
She wouldn't say that. I think you take a vow at like vet or human like medical school.
You kind of do, yeah. Where you have to sort of like buy into certain things, but it was kind of like otherwise you're a weird doctor.
Well, that's why there was plenty of reason to fear the vax, because there were plenty of doctors going, no, I'm not taking it.
And these were the guys getting their Twitter accounts shut down.
Well, there was like a whole hospital in Houston or something like that where all the nurses were like being let go because they're like, yeah, not taking it.
Well, the thing that she specifically mentioned was, she said, there is no possible way that you could have any data worth a shit about any effects about this in that short period of a time.
And to make it mandatory, you're nuts.
I can't. This feels so weird to be going back on this because like COVID. It's like when I joke about it with you guys, where it's like September 11th happened last week, as far as like my memory goes. COVID still feels like it was last week.
COVID seems so long ago.
Does it?
Yeah. I'm sorry, man. There's miles behind. Like even like, and I went down the whole rabbit hole on lab leak and stuff like that. I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't ever want to talk about COVID again.
Okay, all right. That's cool. I'm watching The Resident, which is a show, medical show, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And so we're like in the 4th season, and the first one is the COVID episode. And I was like, oh no, we're gonna have a whole goddamn season of COVID. And they wrapped it up in one show.
Oh, that's
like,
nice.
Well done, guys.
Yay. Let's just gotta rip that band-aid
Yeah,
off.
they're like, well, we gotta have a show about COVID. Well, the world's in it. But no, we're not having a whole goddamn year of this crap.
I've been watching I don't know, I think we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. I've been kind of going down this rabbit hole about like the harmful effects of therapy. So in particular, like
because it'll give you
when you go through a traumatic time and you keep going back and reliving it over and over again, it just gets fucking worse and worse over time.
Yeah.
So and it's just like that's why there's guys like they would fly like combat missions in World War II and never talk about it, and they would be fine. Whereas the guys who would blabber about those are the guys who are the alcoholics. So yeah. So I don't know, man. I think COVID is just one of those things where it's like it sucked. It was bad. We all fucking hated it. If it happens again, it won't go down like that. That's for sure. So like, all right, man. So who really doesn't is anybody who's like actually was in school at that time. Like it came out with my daughter today because we were talking about 4th grade and 8th grade testing, and she's like, I got out of that because that was COVID year, and I was like, yeah, but you don't like that year, did you? She's like, no.
Hey man, up until just like about 2 months ago, maybe like a month and a half ago, when I was still doing the shows, you would get to a page in the credits, and there would be a full page of credits of COVID compliance officer and all this other stuff. And like again, it's
really
you have a whole set of staff for this. It's like, so you spritzed, or like, what is your like?
Yeah.
We're not the fucking voodoo that we had going on there, where it's like, oh no, actually 5 feet is the magic distance.
So that's one thing that I do like that actually stuck around from COVID. You go to line at the gas station and people still stand like 3 feet apart. It's kind of nice.
No, listen, it's not like using a downtown ATM where the guy is, Look, not video, but every single person in this world is like, oh my god, they're like right on my shoulders.
Right on my back.
And there's a line of like 6 dudes behind you. Yeah,
Come on.
I know. I know. All right, so if that's the rule, like COVID embargo, we never talk about it again.
Oh, we can talk about it. It's just,
I'm totally okay with that.
yeah.
All right.
It's not as bad as Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh.
What are you doing?
I'd rather
wrap this up, man.
I'd rather talk about Star Wars. Oh, yeah. Looks like COVID's back on the menu, boy.
There you go.
All right. I'm going to leave it there. I'm
All right.
I'm Will.
Jeffrey.
hitting the fucking button.
Okay.